I have done a Stickman Parkour 2 animation in 10 seconds, 1 minute, 10 minutes, 1 hour, and 10 hours. Let's see how that turned out this time. I didn't know what kind of parkour animation I should make in 10 seconds, so I drew a pothole. But our stickman didn't get his both arms in second frame. Well, that's 3 FPS animation for you. One minute animation is just the extended version of 10 seconds. The difference here is our stickman might get on the other side without losing any of his body parts. Here I copy-pasted the background and then added the stickman straight ahead. I didn't add any in between frames because there was no time left for them. Stickman landed on the other side, which can be considered a success. I think that's good enough for 1 minute animation. For 10 minutes animation, I decided to animate Stickman jumping over the spikes with the help of a rope hanging in the middle. There was nothing difficult here. The rope was main character here. I first animated the Stickman and then added the rope animation. Honestly, this was the first time where I thought that I will complete the animation with few seconds in hand. Started adding the head and just like I said, completed the animation with few seconds remaining. For this animation, I decided to create an outdoor background. I added the clouds and mountain ranges in the background. To give the clouds and the mountains some depth, I added the shades. I tried a crayon brush, which resulted in the mountains looking like an old CS game background. Old games have the mountains texture just like this. After completing the background, I added the obstacles. I was almost at 20 minutes when I completed the background. Now our stickman jumps on the bar which is hanging in front of him. He swings on that bar a couple of times and then jumps on the spring, which looks like a mushroom. He barely makes the jump. That spring throws him onto the next platform. But the platform he was standing on was a trap. The platform gets inclined to a certain degree and the stickman again falls onto that mushroom spring. But fall becomes a blessing in disguise because it throws him even further ahead than before. He did try to check whether the next platform was stable or not, but as he stepped on it to make the final jump, the platform went down and the stickman lost his balance and also went down with that platform. I added the head, adjusted some objects, and our animation was ready. For 10 hours of animation, I drew a rough sketch of our parkour obstacles. Then I imported that image into the flipaclip and drew the final background on it. This wasn't that hard because I already had an outline decided. Using a ruler and circle tool, I drew most of the parts, but the spikes and hooks were drawn randomly. I wanted to make it in 3 floors, but I realized that our characters may not be able to reach the finish line. It was time to animate the background. There were 5 things that had to be animated. 3 moving blades, lava tank with rocks, moving platforms, and lasers. First, I added the rotating blade at the start. I decided that it would be a 4-second loop video for our entire course, so I divided the 48 frames for each object's animation. These 4 seconds I will use as a looping background animation for the entire animation. But as I animated the first blade, I realized it would take more time to animate blades, so I dropped the idea of 2 blades and decided to add fire flames on the ground floor. After the animation, I added some effects like the splashing of lava and shading to flames. Adding the details in flames took a while. It took me around 2 hours and 30 minutes to complete the background and animate it. For the stickman animation, I already decided on the colors of the stickman. Green goes first on the stairs. He stands on the edge observing the blade, but red comes from behind and throws him onto the blade. This is how we lose our first stickman. I already decided that I will animate one stickman until he interacts with another stickman. After that, I will animate a stickman who will interact with the first one. This approach helped me a lot in this. As the red stickman moves ahead from the blades and spikes, purple cautiously follows him. But red had different intentions. As soon as purple lands near red, he kicks the purple. Purple falls off the edge of the dangerous cliff, but holds onto its edge. Red goes on towards the next obstacle. Red somehow managed to reach the middle lava stone, which was stationary at all times, but this wasn't a good sign for the approaching Stickman. Blue follows the purple Stickman and somehow manages to catch up to the red Stickman. Around this time, I completed the 5-hour mark. Red goes ahead and then asks Blue to come, suggesting that he will catch him. He was a pure soul, and he jumped, hoping Red would catch him. Red catches him, but throws him inside the lava pool. I animated him getting drowned and burned in that lava pool. After that, I animated Purple, who manages to get back on his feet. He climbs and watches the story unfold. Then I started adding the orange Stickman. Orange hesitated for the first time when he got down from the stairs, but eventually he passed the first 2 obstacles. After the hard landing, he saw the danger ahead sign and decided to take the shortcut. It was an easier way to reach the finishing line, but it was a trap. It was a death trap. The trap was a mechanical hand. I drew it like a baseball glove. Anyone who tries to use this route will get crushed by hand and then squeezed like a lemon. That was the trap. I wanted to add another character, but first I decided to add the head so I can determine whether to add the character or start animating the ending. In the end, I was left with 1 hour and 15 minutes after adding the head, so I decided to animate the ending. It was down to the last 2 Stickmen. Purple was watching the blue get burned, so Purple decided to confront the red Stickman. He jumped from the first elevated stone, directly onto the top of the red Stickman. Both fell. Red bounced on the moving platforms and was unharmed. I didn't plan this timing. It was spontaneous. That's my suggestion for you all. Don't plan for everything. Animate some things as you go on with it. The results may surprise you. As Red goes ahead, Purple follows him. Red passed the flames easily, but Purple had to wait there. This time, Red stands near the lasers to kick the red Stickman. Red tries to kick the approaching purple Stickman, but he grabs Red's foot and pushes him into the laser. Red gets evaporated by the lasers. Purple manages to cross the lasers by sliding through the curve and lifts the trophy. I added many small things in the last few minutes. I watched it again, corrected some mistakes, and our animation was ready. Thanks for watching.